Hey, it's John. Consultants love to travel, but it's not always the cheapest thing to do. So one of the biggest perks you should be taking advantage of is flex travel. Customers know they're going to spend a pretty penny on getting us out to the customer site because there's high value in us being there in person, working directly with them in the consulting business. That doesn't mean that you can't get creative about it and have them spend the same amount of money or less, and instead of you going home, you can see another city, internationally or domestically. My first couple of years, every month, I was going all over the country, seeing friends from school, experiencing new places. One of the coolest things was just me being spontaneous, going to a city where I'd never been before, knew no one, and really just said, let me get away for a weekend. And I met new friends, explored things. I really learned a lot about myself. So how do you make flex travel effective? First, be upfront about it. Know how much the flights cost, save some information, ask about it, make sure it's okay. Not everyone's going to say it's okay, and if it's not, that's fine, don't worry about it. And recognize if it is a little more than what it costs, you might have to pay some of that difference. Next, plan it out where you're not doing it back to back to back weeks, because I tried a few weeks in a row, and between working during the week, getting on multiple flights between the weekends and during the week, all of a sudden what you realized is I was freaking tired. So you don't want your work to be affected. And when you go to these cities, you don't have to cram everything in a city into a couple of days of a weekend. Realize that, yeah, you want to experience it, but you can always come back. Your goal is really to see friends, embrace a culture, experience something new. And you cramming your day back to back to back is just going to wear you out and not going to be as fun. So have fun, but don't try to overwhelm yourself and overload yourself. Next, let's talk about getting bumped. Airlines want to recognize extra revenue, and one of the best ways to do that is they realized long ago, every flight, a handful of people don't show up for. It's like clockwork. So on every flight, they book extra seats, they oversell it, knowing people aren't going to show up. Well, sometimes they sell a few too many seats, people show up, and they don't have enough seats for you. So when they have to have people not take the flight, it's called getting bumped, and there's voluntary and involuntarily getting bumped. If I show up to a flight and they can't put my butt in a seat and I want to get on that plane, I need to get on that plane, they're going to involuntarily kick me off. Not only are they going to have a huge financial fine, but they're going to have compliance issues, PR issues. It's a big deal. So you'll see airlines consistently asking for volunteers, and recently they've blown open the old $1,300 cap for domestic flights, and now in some cases up to $10,000. And it's gone from just vouchers for future air flights to American Express gift cards. So with a lot of social media and things, it's gotten a lot easier to get bumped and to take full advantage, take more advantage of it. So how do you figure it out? Well, usually it happens on the pretty busy work trips, like a Thursday afternoon home. And if you know you're going to be flexible, if you don't mind getting home really late or potentially not even getting home that day and you want to stay over, they guess the flight's oversold. You can pull up your phone app, look and see how many seats are open for standby usually. Call customer service. They might not give you the exact numbers, but they'll pretty much tell you if it's oversold or not, or if there's open seats or not. If you know, pretty sure it's oversold, get to the airport early, don't check your bag, be friendly to the gate agent and ask them, hey, is this flight oversold? If they get you on the list, do not leave that area because you still might not get bumped. If people don't show up, they're going to still put you on the plane. They have to basically hedge their bet a little bit. If you do get into a bidding war and people are starting to bid it up, it's okay if you go in at like $400, let's say, and ends up at $800 because you're going to get the highest bid at the end of the day and make sure you get it. That's the rule. Once you do get bumped and they're writing your voucher, be creative with them around what options might happen. When I was in New York, for example, there's multiple airports between LaGuardia, JFK, Newark, and even White Plains, and I got creative, and in many cases I was able to get $1,000 or more and really just wait an hour and go to a gate over, and I drove a little bit out of my way, a little inconvenience, but I didn't put the customer at risk, and for a little more inconvenience, I cashed out big. So keep those things in mind, be flexible with your travel plans, and be friendly to the gate agent. So those are two really easy tips that I've taken full advantage of and really helped me maximize the consulting experience. Thanks.